A few years ago, I was working in a Catholic school and I asked this question just to get the discussion going. I said to them, "What's your favourite passage in the Bible?" And you can imagine that lots of the answers were fairly predictable. But one girl said that she loves that passage when Jesus goes to his hometown of Nazareth. He's speaking in the synagogue and it says, "All eyes in the synagogue were fixed on him." All eyes in the synagogue were fixed on him. I was a bit surprised and I asked her, why did she like this? And she replied, she said, "I'm not sure, but it's as if they saw something in him, something in his face, something in his eyes that they had never seen before." And it was as if she were looking into the face of Jesus and seeing something that I couldn't see for myself. And then she got shy and a little bit self-conscious and she tried to change the subject. At about the same time, there was an exhibition at the National Gallery in London called Seeing Salvation. It collected together images of Jesus Christ from over 1,000 years of art history. Everyone expected it to be a flop. They just thought there's no demand for religious art. But in fact, the visitor figures surprised everyone, and it was the most popular exhibition in Britain that year. So who is this man, Jesus? And why is there a continuing fascination about him, even when so many people think that Christianity is in decline? Well, the basic facts of his life are well known. They're agreed by nearly all historians. This is not mythology or just Christian propaganda. And actually, we know more about the life of Jesus than we do about nearly any figure in ancient history. Jesus was born in Bethlehem just over 2,000 years ago. He grew up in a Jewish family in the tiny village of Nazareth, about 60 miles north of Jerusalem. He was a carpenter. He became a rabbi, a Jewish teacher. He impressed people with his teaching and with the miracles and healing that he worked. He gathered around him a group of people, friends, followers, that he called the church, the community of the church. He got into a long-running confrontation with the Jewish authorities, and eventually he was put to death by Roman crucifixion. But his followers claimed that he had risen from the dead, that he had appeared to them, and that he was still present with them in some mysterious way. This is the heart of the Christian story. What's equally striking is the way he touched people's lives. His teaching made a deep impression on people. His kindness moved them. His stories amused them. His honesty shook them. His prayer had an intensity and a sincerity that they'd never seen before. People wanted to be with him, even if at the same time he unsettled them. There was an attraction that they couldn't explain, and they began to think, maybe this is the Messiah that we've been waiting for. Maybe this is the Saviour who will fulfill all the promises that God had made to the Jewish people. This is the Christian faith, that Jesus is the Son of God who comes from the Father, that he is God himself because he shares God's very nature. It's clear in the Bible that Jesus is much more than a teacher or a great prophet. His followers would come to worship him as they worshipped the God of Israel. So when we look at the face of Jesus, we are looking into the face of God. There is a strange phrase in the Bible. It says that God pitched his tent among us. He came into our world. He became a human being in the womb of his mother, the Virgin Mary, and he bridged the gap between heaven and earth. This is the story of Christmas, when Jesus was born in a stable in Bethlehem. He became like us in all things except sin. And it's such a central part of the story that Christians tell. And it raises the question, what if it's true?